Okay, today we are playing a game on Oasis. We are playing Reinhardt, Roadhog, and Winston intermittently throughout the game, and the average SR of this game was 2,164. And with this information, we know that one member of the game is a big fat phony. So, let's look at our team. We've got Reinhardt, Genji, D.Va, Zenyatta, Bastion, and Mercy. So we're not super psyched about our team comp. Because our two DPS are Genji and Bastion, but I wouldn't worry about it overly so because our team comp changes, like, every couple of minutes during this game. So, it's not a big deal, but we are a little sad about that right now. Okay, so we're coming out of the game. We decide that we're gonna follow Bastion around this side, like, I get the idea, but you're gonna end up in the same spot regardless, and going around this way with Bastion makes you take slightly longer to get there. And you would rather arrive ahead of your team so that you can start making space for them immediately, rather than arriving later. And also, like, don't worry about it that much. So, I was quite impressed with the first few seconds of this game, because we show incredible restraint. That Reinhardt over there lacked a great deal of restraint, as we might have just seen. We've also, if we look in the kill feed, Genji has just died to Widowmaker. And it wasn't a headshot, so something sad happened over there. I've clicked on something over here, and it's fucked everything. There we go. So, we're sitting back here with Bastion right now. Bastion is shooting things. We're gonna go forward and stand on the point, as is our job. And we show a great deal of restraint and just sit back here, holding our shield up and protecting people. Look at this absolutely textbook Reinhardt play. Now, you do want to be taking the shield down already and letting it recharge. And, now we charge in. So I was no longer impressed by this point because this is like a bad idea. You need a pretty good reason to charge, and basically you have to know you're gonna hit somebody, and we don't know that we're gonna hit anybody. We don't really expect to hit anybody looking at this unless Mei, like, lacks all self-preservation instincts. And we just charge into the enemy team, and we should die for this. Fortunately, the enemy team doesn't have anything that can punish us quickly. Like, they don't have a Roadhog or anything like that right now. But that's the sort of maneuver that should get you killed. It may have led to this Zenyatta's death, because if we didn't do that, we might have been able to protect him instead. But we shouldn't have charged him right there. All we really needed to do was stand behind the pillar in the middle, out of the way for a little while, let our shield recharge, and then just keep holding the shield up. Because we were under no obligation to go forward, because we can just sit back here and let our Bastion kill people, and sooner or later, someone on their team is going to die, and then we can start coming forward and pressuring them, rather than just charging in blindly, basically. So, now we're running around swinging at people. We shouldn't be doing this, really. We should just be, like, sitting either up here by the pillar or back by our team, letting our shield recharge so that we can start holding it up. We feel we're probably going to get frozen by this Mei, so rather than accept that fate, we're just going to charge in at somebody, and we do at least break D.Va's mech before we die. We did get walled off as well, so we were probably not long for the world regardless at that point. But Mercy already has her res, so we get to live again, and this is going to be enough to swing the fight back around, because as you can see, they have already lost some people. We are holding our shield up over here because their Widowmaker is over there, so it's a little bit too scary to take our shield down and actually swing at these people. Fair enough. We now have Earth Shatter, but there's not really anything great to use it on right now because we're mostly just trying to clean up the last few people that are left behind, and now we're protecting Bastion again. We could have, like, swung at that Lucio as he ran by and then went back to holding the shield up. Their Reinhardt has just wasted his Earth Shatter. We're still just gonna stay over here and protect our Bastion. Fair enough. You know, like, whatever. And Mei's coming in. Like, there's a lot of, like, really weird nonsense shit happening right now, and we're just electing to basically sit and protect our Bastion, which is fine. We pin the Mei right as she comes out of the ice cube. Feels good, man. We still haven't gotten control of the point. They've been contesting the point the entire time still, so this is getting very old very quickly. We decide we're going to take our shield down and beat this Genji to death. Like, really, we're just struggling to kill these last couple of people this entire time, because there's only been, like, 1 or 2 people here the entire time. We could probably be, like, aggressive at more points during this, but, like, at various points we're, like, holding up our shield because Widowmaker is still too scary and things like that. We should countercharge this Reinhardt, because, like, that's what you want to do, typically. Because I mean, we start fire striking the second we see him. We would rather countercharge this Reinhardt when he's coming in, because you usually want to countercharge the other Reinhardt when he's charging in. Even if you can get out of the way, it's still usually better because of who could be standing behind you in that case, and you don't usually want them to get hit either. But we finally managed to kill all the people that were touching the point, so we've gotten control of the point, finally. And we've just been hanging out with our Bastion this entire time, which is pretty much what you do when you have a Bastion on your team, even if you don't really want to have the Bastion, which, I mean, you don't on King of the Hill. You pretty much have to hang out with the Bastion and be like, well, very optimistic hook from the Roadhog right there. Let's watch that one again. I always like seeing the hook fully extend. Good stuff. When there's a Bastion on your team and you're on, like, King of the Hill, like, you don't want to have the Bastion, obviously, but if you have the Bastion, your choices are pretty much stay and support the Bastion and maybe he kills people, or don't stay and support the Bastion and he dies and does nothing. So, this is pretty much what you have to do in this situation. We don't have this Bastion forever. We also don't play Reinhardt forever, but we've just been hanging out with him for this entire time. Don't let your shield break like we do right there. You don't want to ever let your shield break, because then it goes on a cooldown, which is the worst thing imaginable. Even if you're shielding something, like, don't let your shield break still, because you don't want to ever let it go on cooldown, because, well, you want to be able to always put it up, because sometimes that's enough, even if it has no HP. Like, imagine you let your shield break, and then suddenly D.Va throws her ult in, and you're like, well, fuck, not much I can do about that suddenly. Don't ever let it break. So, we still have Earth Shatter. This is not the correct response to what happens to us right here. Because we get hooked, and we're, like, mostly dead, and then we decide to push the shift button. We just start trying to backpedal away while holding our shield up. You can, like, try and, like, do the shield kiting, where you jump and, like, flick your shield down and back up again, but, like, basically you don't charge when you're nearly dead. That was probably a panic reaction, but your panic reaction shouldn't be charge into the enemy team. So we've been rezzed again. We're going to try and beat the Junkrat to death. That's not going to happen, though, because he's just gotten away from us. This Roadhog's still over here, and we try to charge him. Very optimistic charge. Almost no way that actually pins him. Would rather you just go in and start hitting him. We still have Earth Shatter, but honestly, we still haven't really had anything worth using it on happen, because we've never really seen an actual fight yet. We've just seen, like, all this weird nonsense stuff that's been happening. So we don't have a Bastion anymore, we now have Tracer. So now we feel really silly for being Reinhardt, because we have basically nothing that's going to be standing behind our shield. This is fantastic. Look at this absolutely textbook play right here, and look at this other Reinhardt being really fucking bad. We block the Earth Shatter, and then we countercharge the enemy Reinhardt, and that's absolutely textbook, and then he dies. And we're gonna get frozen over here, feels bad, we're being healed, we get bubbled out. Now, right there, we just saw that their Genji started using the Dragon Blade. We have Earth Shatter. If you can't just, like, kill the Genji when he's using Dragon Blade, I recommend trying to Earth Shatter the Genji. Earth Shatter is worth trading for other ultimates. Like, if you see a soldier start using Tac Visor, and you aren't in a position where, like, everybody's just out of the way, or if Genji's gonna go into you and start swinging, it's worth trading your Earth Shatter to stop that person from doing anything. So I would try and Earth Shatter the Genji in that position, because he does lead to, like, at least one member of our team dying, but and even though he didn't kill the Mercy, he probably still led to the Mercy dying. So we could have perhaps stopped that if we landed the Earth Shatter on him instead. So Death Blossom, obviously, Tac Visor, High Noon. These, like, if you think an enemy ultimate is going to kill somebody on your team, don't be afraid to just trade Earth Shatter for it, because at the end of the day, when you're playing Reinhardt, the most important thing you're trying to do is protect your team. So if that means trading your ultimate to stop a Dragon Blade or a Visor, it's worth it. So this is happening, and we just drop the Earth Shatter right in the middle of this happening right here. We probably don't really need to do this. We could probably just, like, fire strike through this and start swinging or charge through. Like, Roadhog was using whole hogs, we would have probably charged through it instead. But we didn't really need to put the Earth Shatter in the Graviton as well, because the way that was going looks like you could have probably killed them without using the Earth Shatter, and then we could use the Earth Shatter for, like, the following fight, seeing as we're about to win the round also. But like, unnecessary, probably unnecessary. I wouldn't have even had it in that position. I would have already used it on the Genji. Even if I missed it on the Genji, I would have still just not had it at that point. So now our team is up here fighting. We don't have very long until we win the round, but Winston has just jumped in. We missed the charge right there. Feels bad, man. Mei is over here doing this. We're blocking Mei. Now, it's getting very awkward for us because this Mei is back here and no one's really dealing with that situation. So we start trying to swing at her. This is a very optimistic charge. Don't do this. No, no, no. Because that's never going to work. And now we can't, like, pin this Roadhog out of Take a Breather, but he's gonna die regardless eventually. And now we're gonna go and try and get this Mercy, who has already used her res, so we're not too concerned about it. And this has been a very awkward, very scattered, very chaotic fight, but we are winning it, so all is well. We are almost dead. I would not be trying to chase this Genji down anymore. I would just be trying to block, because you don't really want to risk dying to the Genji, and, like, you hitting the Genji is pretty unlikely, because he's going to be flipping around and doing, like, his cyborg ninja shit, which you're probably not going to hit him out of, but whatever. We win in the end. It's not like you're going to probably not going to get killed by the Genji anyway. So, we are now playing Roadhog, because we've looked at our team and we've been like, who's going to stand behind our shield? Basically, no one. This is also a really bad match to be playing Mercy in, because, like, who are you gonna damage boost? It's gonna be, like, the tanks or Zenyatta, which is not really what you're looking for, and you're not gonna be able to heal the, it's not a good round to play Mercy in, really. So we've changed to Roadhog, which is a good switch, I think. So, now we're coming over here, we're in University right now. We could have tried to hook this Mei, like, Mei has just been jumping around in front of us like a gibbon this entire time. And we don't even try to hook her. Probably afraid of, like, her shielding or something like that, but, like, that Mei, like, you try and hook that Mei, just, like, jumping around in front of you like that. We try to hook the Roadhog, I think, and accidentally pull out a Mercy, which, I mean, is better, so all good stuff. We've got Winston jumping around over here. And we're trying to run him down. We're going to get him eventually. This is good focusing, because when you're playing Roadhog, you do usually want to try and kill the Winston. We have left the point behind, but we've done it to kill one of their main tank, basically, so it was worth it. And when you're playing Roadhog and there's a Winston on the other team, you want to focus the Winston pretty hard, seeing as that's one of the most direct counters in the game. There's, like, basically nothing Winston can do to survive. So we should not jump into this pit to try and kill this man, because now we have to walk all the way back up this low-ass staircase onto the point. And if they need us up here, well, we're not going to be here anytime soon, and, like, this is happening over here. So we could have probably done something to prevent this Genji's death, seeing as he died to Winston, who we want to be focusing. So don't jump in the pit unless you, like, have a really good reason to do so, and that was not really a really good reason to do so. However, this Winston is going to die regardless. We don't quite hook the other Roadhog, which I think was the goal, to try and hook. I think we were going to try and hook the Mei, and then we were like, oh shit, gotta try and interrupt the Roadhog's hook, so we ended up hooking neither of them. Feels bad, man. Shooting over here, trying to kill this guy. Can't do very much right now, because our hook has been on cooldown until just now. We're trying to come around here and hook somebody. Missed the hook. Feels bad, man. We've gotten hooked, we got protected by our Zarya. We could have gone a little bit harder on the Roadhog right there, because we get bubbled by Zarya and it breaks, so it gets broken, obviously, but we could have gone, just tried a little bit harder to get that guy, just, like, a little bit more aggressive and then back out, and we could have maybe gotten a better shot on him and killed him, seeing as he was nearly dead. And even if you get frozen by the Mei, if you kill that Roadhog, it doesn't matter, because the Roadhog's the one that's gonna kill you. A Mei freezing Roadhog, it's like, oh, whatever, how fucking inconvenient, more than anything else. So, this is happening over here right now. We get bumped out of the way by the forest, so we don't get to hook there. Roadhog feels bad, man. I would have probably started using Whole Hog on this Winston right here, and this Mercy, because we could try and pin these two in the corner right here. We would get interrupted by this Roadhog, so, hindsight's 20/20, but I would probably been like, alright, I can kill these two people if I pin them in this corner. Can't quite get out of the way. Don't do that. Like, if you're gonna get frozen, don't start taking a breather, because then it goes on the cooldown. It goes on the 8-second cooldown, but we healed 0 off of it. So, don't do that. If you're gonna get frozen, you just gotta take it like a man. You can't use the take a breather, because then you get it on the cooldown and don't actually do anything with it. So, everybody's dead out here right now. The correct play right now is actually die quicker, probably, unless you can get out, because we don't want to go and, like, peek under this door. We just want to get out as quickly as possible. No need to go get the large health kit. because we don't want to risk dying, because if we die over there, that's going to feel pretty bad, and it's not like we need to get the large health kit, just, like, get out faster. If you don't think you can get out in that situation, you just go and die faster, because you want to get back to your team as quickly as possible, if you don't think you can get out. Don't, like, belabor a death that's coming for you, but we could get out in that situation, because they weren't chasing us. So, we hook the Winston right here, we're trying to kill the Winston in the end. And we've also just killed their Tracer. We don't need to take a breather right there, because we're not in any risk, basically. We could just let our team heal us up instead. Because, like, you know, what's really gonna be doing anything to us over here? Nothing. And I'm sure that Mercy would have appreciated the ult charge, if she doesn't already have it. So, either way, though, we didn't need to use the cooldown regardless, because Mercy was there. So, we're gonna, like, we get bumped away by Pharah, so that's, like, unfortunate timing, but we're trying to initiate this fight with Whole Hog, basically. Really bad ultimate to try and engage with, because of what Whole Hog does, which is push people away. To use it aggressively like this, you need to be in a pretty specific setup, which, University on Oasis doesn't really give you. Where if you're going to try and use it aggressively, you need to either be able to push people into a corner, or push them off an edge. Both of which are hard to do on University. Unless you're, like, over in this room or something. But we just, like, come blindly around the corner and start using Whole Hog. It's a really bad ult to engage with, so I wouldn't recommend doing this. We get to kill their Tracer with it, which is, like, pretty incredible, honestly, if you think about it, but I wouldn't recommend using Whole Hog like that. Whole Hog is best used defensively to, like, stop their aggression, unless you can, like, pin people in a corner and kill them. Whole Hog is, like, a weird ultimate. So, we've taken a big chunk of damage, and there's not a great deal we can do about it, and we get killed. Everybody over here is getting killed, so no matter what we did, basically, we were still gonna get killed, because our whole team got killed. Mei is, like, killing a lot of our team, so is Pharah. Pharah is, like, less of an, like... We can theoretically kill Pharah as Roadhog, but it's really hard. We, at this point, should probably try and focus this Mei really hard. Like, we want to focus, like, their Winston, because we're playing Roadhog. But Mei is, like, doing most of the work on their team at this point. So we want to probably start focusing Mei really hard, because she is the one that's actually causing trouble for our team right now. More than anybody else. So we should try and shift our focus more onto her. Our Tracer has also just changed to Pharah, which is good, because Pharah is pretty good against Mei. So, we're going in now, this is happening, we don't have our Whole Hog, so we can't throw that into the Graviton, but Genji's over here swinging his blade, we back out really far because of the blizzard, got the Tracer just before we got frozen, feels good, man, got hooked right as we started taking a breather, feels bad, man, but what's he gonna do? What's phase 2 of the plan, enemy Roadhog, and it was get killed by us. So, we almost have Whole Hog built up again, but we're not overly concerned about it. It's not an ult that you base your gameplay around. Like, there are some heroes in the game that are their ultimate is better than the hero. Like, Dragon Blade is better than Genji. Roadhog is better than Whole Hog, so we aren't really worried about getting Whole Hog. We're backing up pretty far away right now. Our hook is on cooldown. Oh god, Winston's here. He's doing this. This is a problem right here. This is also a problem. We missed the Mei, which feels bad. And we get Whole Hog right now, and we start using it. This is where I would also use Whole Hog. It's a shame we didn't have it a little bit sooner to try and, like, kill the Winston through Primal Rage, because, like, Whole Hog does a lot of fucking damage if you can pin a big guy in a corner. But we do this. Mei does that. That's annoying, but we get to kill that Mercy, because Mercy's doing, like, what the fuck? I don't know what the fuck the Mercy's angle was, but we got her. And then we get to get frozen and die for our trouble. We also see they have a Widowmaker now. God, excuse me. We also see they have a Widowmaker now, which is important to bear in mind. So, we've gotten rezzed again. This is happening. Hook him out of that. He dies, but we're gonna get like, look at how many fucking blizzards this Mei has thrown out. Like, Mei has used Blizzard, like, what, 4 or 5 times during this round? Like, Mei is, like, getting a lot of work done. Part of that is because we're 2 ult-generating tanks right now on our team, because we've got, Diva now and Roadhog, so we are 2 ult battery tanks on our team, so that's not helping, but their Mei is doing, like, a lot of work for their team, so she is definitely, like, who we need to start focusing. She has, like, used an unbelievable amount of blizzards during this round. Like, Mei is, like, carrying them pretty hard. So, we can't really stop and do that right now. Like, we're not gonna make it regardless, but you can't really stop and take a breather when there's only 5 seconds, 5% left on the timer. You just have to, like, go in and hope for the best. Did kill Widowmaker right before the round ended, so that feels good, though. So, we're gonna change back to Reinhardt right now. We have more things to stand behind our barrier now, because we also have, Zarya and Soldier, as well as Zenyatta and Mercy, so this is better time for, Reinhardt, though we did just see our Soldier go off that way instead of with us, so, you know, whatever. And we're having some trouble with Mei. Reinhardt can make Mei's life difficult because we can, you know, block all the freezing and the icicles. The glory days of when you used to be able to block Mei's ultimate, because when she throws the robot, that used to bounce off your shield. Well, not bounce off your shield, but it used to just, like, stop on your shield. Those were the days. Now she can just throw it through your shield and freeze your team, and it feels bad. So they still have a Mei, of course. I mean, Mei's been doing work, so she wouldn't change. And she's right here, right now. I would probably try and pin this Winston right here, because Winston is, like, jumping around in front of us, and he's got Discord Orb on him. What I would do, is I would, like, take a step back to, like, line up on this Winston, and he has just, like, jumped as well, so there's not much fear of him jumping away, and try and pin him, because if we pin him when he's got Discord Orb on him, he fucking dies. So I would try and do that. Instead, or we could just, like, sit back and hold our shield up and, like, just protect against everything that's happening over here. Because instead we take our shield down and start swinging into their group, which is, like, the worst possible thing we could really do, because we just end up getting blitzed from all sides and getting murdered. Charging in would also, like, that's the play I would do, because I'm a very aggressive player, and I would be like, yeah, I can kill this Winston who's got Discord Orb on him. But the, highest probable play, percentage-wise play, is probably just sit there with your barrier up and protect your team. I mean, that's usually how it is with Reinhardt. Like, you usually need, like, a really good reason to actually start being aggressive. So, but our team has won this fight in our absence anyway. We have gotten back now, and we get to start beating this Zarya to death since she's here alone. And we do indeed kill the Zarya. There's a Mei running around over here, but she stood still to try and line up the headshot and got herself killed. They have a Widowmaker also, which is important information, because now we have to worry about finding her and trying to block her line of sight as well. We are also going to change to Winston during this round as well. Which, I mean, fair enough. This guy's upset with Soldier. There was a lot of spirited banter in this game. So, Winston's doing this over here. We can't really do anything about it, because their whole team is coming over here as well, so we have to hold our shield up, basically. And Genji gets fucking killed, and we get to see who the master is. So, Winston has just jumped over us. We can't still really do much about that, because we have to block the team over there. We try and get the Winston now, but he uses Primal Rage right before we pin him. Feels bad, man. But he's still dead. Earth Shatter right now. I would have Earth Shattered a little bit sooner, but we Earth Shatter them in the end anyway, and we use a bunch of ultimate. Like, we've used every fucking ultimate in the book right there. We use Transcendence, Earth Shatter, Graviton, Tac Visor, even though Tac Visor is worse to use when people are in a Graviton. I get one of the things that tilts me the most about this game is when I see somebody use the Graviton, and then Soldier's like, yeah, Tac Visor. If they're in the Graviton, they ain't fucking moving. You don't need the aimbot anymore, son. They aren't moving, but whatever. So we fire strike up at this Widowmaker, because she's not looking at us. Zenyatta over here is going fucking nuts and killing everybody before dying to Russian might. So, good job. Good job, Zarya, quelling that. And she also got to kill their Widowmaker, so Zarya's feeling pretty good about that one right now. So, now we're just sitting back waiting. Like, this is very nitpicky. You don't need to have your shield up right now. This could be regenerating, and you'd have 100 more hit points, which, I mean, can matter. So, like, if there's nothing happening, you shouldn't have your shield up, because you just want to have it be regenerating, and, like, not taking damage when nothing's happening. If you're not protecting anything, like, if no damage is coming in, or if damage is coming in, but nobody's with you to protect, you don't need to have your shield up, because if nobody's with you, you can just stand out of the way, right, and then put your shield up when you need to. And if there's no damage coming in, there's nothing to protect anyway, and you could just let your shield be recharging during both of these periods, and then you have more energy for when something actually happens. So this is happening over here. Mei has just thrown her ultimate in, which feels bad, and we decide we're gonna charge in rather than get frozen. And now, Mercy's like, forgot we existed, and like, we got to get the drop on her. But our team got killed because they all got frosted and killed by Mei and Winston. Feels bad, man. Nothing you can actually do about that, though, if they get hit by Blizzard and then just get, like, tased and frozen. And we killed the Zarya right at the start, so we at least stopped, like, a no, wait, she just used a Graviton, so that wasn't going to happen regardless. So we decide we're going to change to Winston now, which is fair enough, because, well, I mean, it's debatable, because, like, basically what we're thinking is Widowmaker. But Winston isn't very good against this side of their team, because Mei, like, he's not going to kill Mei. There's no way Winston actually gets to kill a Mei, because Mei is too tanky. Winston, like, is hard countered by Roadhog, and, like, Winston versus Winston, fuck, right? So, this is probably still not a very good switch, because basically, we're only gonna be good against Widow. I mean, Winston is also good against supports, but he's really bad against, like, this side, basically. So, this is probably still not a very good switch. I would just stay on Reinhardt, honestly, because, like, Reinhardt's pretty good. Like, it's not like you can still block Widowmaker as Reinhardt, and you block, like, all of these people. And then Winston, like, yeah, you can't, like, block Winston's Tesla cannon, but Reinhardt is actually pretty good at killing Winston. Because he tends to be very easy to pin, because once he jumps in, he can't move very quickly anymore, so it tends to be pretty easy to line up a pin. So I would either stay on Reinhardt or just change to Roadhog. Cause, like, Winston, yeah, like, Widowmaker, I get it, but, like, I don't think the Widowmaker has been threatening enough to justify changing to something that's, like, worse against Mei and Roadhog, right? Cause, like, the Mei is the one doing all the work on their team, basically, still as well, and Winston is not very good against Mei. At best, it's, like, completely neutral. Neither party wins. And Roadhog is, like, really bad. So we are going to try and tase this Mei to death. Like, it's probably not going to work. We end up having to drop our bubble right here just to not get frozen and fight her. We are now currently looking for Widowmaker, and it's taking us a while to find her. We decide we're going to try and tase this Mercy to death. Got the Mercy. Mei popped out behind us, but we got away. And now we're over here. We're being distracting and tasing people, if nothing else, and we got their Zenyatta as well. And this we don't want to do. This is, like, not our area at all. When you're playing Winston, if there are people on the enemy team that counter you as Winston, like Reaper, Roadhog, I mean, it's fine. Like, you don't necessarily have to change off of Winston, but, like, you don't want to fight them, ever. Like, we're walking right into them. We also did very briefly see where Widowmaker was, because we saw a shot just streak across right there. I tried to pause it, but then totally didn't. Because we see, right there, Widowmaker's bullet. So, we know where Widowmaker is actually now, which is over there, but we start, like, going at the tanks instead. Winston's really bad at fighting tanks. He just does not do enough damage to kill any of them, and most of them all of them, except Zarya at 0 charge, do more damage than Winston. So you don't want to ever fight another tank, basically. Like, even if they have, like, a Roadhog, it's fine, just, like, or Reaper, it's fine, just, like, don't fight around those people. Go do basically anything else that you could be doing. So, that's happening right there. Tracer managed to kill Mei with the Pulse Bomb. There's 2 tanks here right now, and now, everybody's alive again. But, right, so we just saw over there that Widowmaker just got revived. So, like, yeah, we can try and kill this Mei, but, like, she's being first off, she's Mei, so it's hard for us to kill her as Winston, but she's also being healed by Mercy. Not being killed by Mercy. That would be very counterproductive. She's being healed by Mercy, so there's just basically no way this works. So, instead, a better use of our time would be jumping on this Widowmaker and killing her. We can't even, like, block the Mei. Like, if we had our bubble up, we could just, like, drop our bubble on the Mei and then go over and start bullying Widowmaker, and then our team can use the bubble to, like, protect themselves from Mei. But this is not gonna work out. We should just go over here and start bullying the Widowmaker instead, because this is not it. We start bullying the Mercy instead. I mean, like, yeah, I get that, like, kill Mercy, but she's, like, already used her res at the same time, and Widowmaker is, like, our area. So, I would prioritize the Widowmaker over the Mercy. Since Mercy's already used her res, she's less of a priority than Widowmaker, in my opinion. Because the reason Mercy is a high priority is, like, yeah, one, she is a healer, but it's so she doesn't res people. She already did it, so I would focus the Widowmaker first, and then try and get the Mercy. Because as well, if you kill the Widowmaker, who was the one shooting at us, pretty unlikely anybody actually protects the Mercy at that point, because Widowmaker was the only one doing damage to us, and then we could just kill the Mercy afterwards. So, this is happening over here. We wisely decide we are not going to go in, because we would die. We are about to run out of time, though, so we can't, like... We're not gonna get to fully wait for our team. Don't do that. Like, there's no need to do this. Like, cause we end up using our bubble for this. Like, we're gonna need that in the near future. And, like, the risk of getting picked off is, like, look, this is extreme risk right here. And this is the worst possible time to get picked off. Cause then we are going to not be here in time for the last fight. Now we've used our bubble, but we're gonna need that in the near future. Like, just don't go in that room during that period right there. So, we want to get this Widowmaker, but we have Discord Orb on us right now. So, like, you have, like, two options right here, where it's gonna be, like, wait for this to fall off first, or Primal Rage immediately. Like, immediately when you come around this corner, because they know you're coming, and you have Discord Orb on you, and you're mostly dead. Like, just wait here for this to fall off of you, or if you don't think you can wait, like Primal Rage before you start doing this, because Widowmaker, she could have just killed you the second you came around that corner. Like, it's amazing you got that far, honestly, and, like, you didn't use your Primal Rage, which, I mean, yeah, Primal Rage sooner if you're gonna, like, get dropped low, but, like, if you're gonna come around that corner while Discord's on you and you're, like, 350 HP, you gotta, like, Primal Rage immediately, because you're probably gonna die pretty fucking fast. Because you have Discord Orb on you. Feels bad, man. So we changed back now to Roadhog. Somebody's left, but they come back, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they come back. Yes, they come back. Okay. I wasn't sure for a second. So we've changed back to Roadhog. I think Roadhog's a better pick. I think Roadhog would have been a better pick before still, because we only really countered Widowmaker. And we never really countered the Widowmaker either. Like, it didn't really pan out that way regardless. So Mei has immediately killed Tracer, which is just like, alright, sure, that happened. We've come, like, all the way up here as well. We don't really need to come all the way up here. Like, this takes us a long time to come up here, and we don't really gain anything from coming up here. And we, like, now we're just like, fuck, I'm not really doing anything up here, and, like, we're trying really hard to, like, flank them. We got their Zenyatta, so that's great, but, like, this has basically been, like, flanking hog, and that's usually not very good. I'd rather we were just honestly over there with our team, trying to push in on the point. Don't, like, come around the corner if you're, like, you know she's there. You know that Widowmaker is there, because she just shot you, and you decide to come around the corner doing this. Don't do that. Secondary follow-up, if you are going to take a breather in front of enemy heroes, turn away when you're doing it, because, like, think about Roadhog's model, right? His head he's not built like a snowman, his head doesn't rest on top of his model, it's slightly forward on his model, so if you turn around, they can't score headshots on you very easily anymore. Instead of letting them shoot your big beautiful face, show them your big beautiful ass instead, which is not going to make you take extra damage. So, but this happens, and we're fucked, basically. I'd rather you're just with your team during that entire period of time, because, like, Roadhog flanking tends to, like, not really work out very well. I'd rather you're just with your team, like, making space for people, and, like, pressuring their front line. Breaking Reinhardt barriers if they have it, just like barriers in general, bullying Winston, because he's going to be jumping on your team as well, and you should be prioritizing the Winston if you're playing Roadhog. So, like, right now, this is happening, but he jumps away right as we get there. Oh, we missed him. Feels bad, man. If I am to nitpick, if somebody's, like, jumping through the air, and they're gonna land in front of you, it's usually easier to let them land and then hook them, but whatever. So we're gonna try and go around the side now, see if we can hook somebody. Oh, this got very awkward very quickly, and we decide to write the whole thing off as a loss. Fair enough. We don't quite get that Winston, which feels bad. Oh, got their Mercy. Killed their Mercy. Perfect. Awesome. Rest of the fight going well, as we can see up here. Attack Visor has happened. Only person left alive on their team is Widowmaker. So, Zenyatta was actually still alive, but he died, because he's Zenyatta. So, you know. So we've almost got Whole Hog, which is, I mean, you know, it's cool. We're not really worrying about it, but it's cool. As you can see, we don't win this round, because there's not very much time left. So, Roadhog, Winston just used his bubble over there, which is honestly good news for us, because that's down for 12 seconds now. So, we can, we could hook him right there. Our hook was off cooldown, right? Oh, no, our hook was on cooldown, was it? Yeah, damn, feels bad, man. I saw it up, and I thought it was up. No, it was not up. Damn, feels bad, man, because we could have hooked him right there if it was off cooldown. So, this is happening over here. Fortunately, it's Orisa that's getting frozen, so, you know, no, not the end of the world. This is happening. We missed the hook on the Primal Rage Winston, which feels bad. Oh, God, oh, we really don't want to get pushed off that edge, and we just narrowly avoid that. We don't really get to do very much during this period, because we're still getting bullied around by the Winston. Be shooting, like, at the Winston during this period of time still, though, because, like, you can do a lot of damage still to Primal Rage Winston. And, you know, doing damage to him is better than doing damage to nobody, which we've been doing during this period of time. So now we're over here. That happens. Oh, he died before we even had to hook him, so that feels good. I would have probably whole hogged, honestly. Like, we know that this was unnecessary, but I would have probably started using whole hog right there, because you could pin the Roadhog in the corner and kill him, and then, like, turn it on this Winston immediately, and, like, probably kill him as well. But, I mean, we end up knowing that that wasn't really necessary, because this is all still going pretty well. Oh, didn't have any ammo left when he arrived. Feels bad, man. May's using Blizzard again. This is a less good Blizzard than the other ones have been, though. And now, you know, we're basically just trying to, like, kill people as this is happening. What I will say is we should probably just still be focusing Mei, trying to focus Mei more during all of this, because Mei is the one that's consistently been giving our team trouble. So, we should be looking for her more actively during these fights, which it seems like we're not really doing. We don't really want to be up here. Like, we're not really doing anything up here. So I'd rather we were just down on the point, like, with our team, because now we're by ourselves, and they jump on us while we're by ourselves, and they kill us. And McCree has just killed, like, our entire team. So that feels pretty bad. And, I mean, felt really good for the McCree, though. Like, the McCree must have felt like a fucking god. So, we have Whole Hog now. But we don't really have anything to combo it with. Our ult could in fact be detrimental in some cases, so we're not overly concerned about it. And we're gonna go in now. Our team is mostly regrouped. They have a Reinhardt now, which makes life slightly more difficult for us, and this just happened, which is just like fucking hell. So now we also want to be prioritizing, like, breaking Reinhardt's barrier, because Roadhog is really good at breaking Reinhardt barriers because of his right click, so we do want to be focusing that now as well. We missed the hook right there, feels bad, man, but we're not in a position where they can really kill us, so we get away. We are now, like, I would not come over here and do this, because basically we go off by ourselves when we do this, and their team, like, if they decide to come over here, like, they could kill us in this corner pretty easily, and we come off over here by ourselves, because this could happen, basically. Like, Roadhog is really easy to kill if you overextend, or are by yourself, and we've been punished for that twice now, so we should stop doing this. You generally just want to be with your team, like, being threatening, like, protecting people, because, I mean, you can still protect people as Roadhog by killing the person that's threatening your team. And you're just generally worse by yourself as Roadhog. He's not very good at, like, flanking stuff. So we're using Whole Hog right now. This is a good time to use Whole Hog. We don't quite get to kill anybody, though, which feels bad. I would have done the exact same thing, but it didn't work out for us. Feels bad, man, you know? So, this is all happening over there. We're not going to get rezzed, because she just rezzed us for that fight to begin with. The fight is not going terribly. Orisa has used her bongo, and her bongo has been broken, as you would expect to happen. We just lost our Mercy, so things are now going to go quite poorly, probably, because now all we have as a healer is Zenyatta, who is getting bullied. I would not keep going at that point, because you are probably not going to win this fight. Your team is mostly dead. It's just you and Zenyatta over here, and you die because it's just you and Zenyatta over here. Zenyatta's not even with you, because he's up on the high ground right now. So they're like, oh, it's just Roadhog again, and they just kill you, Gotta be real careful about, like, going off by yourself. Oh, we're gonna play Lucio now. No, oh, no. Oh, we're taking a very long time to decide right now. Oh, just stick on Roadhog. Like, you gotta commit quickly, because now, like, there's not a lot of time left. Like, you gotta commit quick to what you're gonna do. You do, when you are close to losing, you generally just want to change to a faster hero, so I wouldn't switch back to Roadhog. Like, just pick a faster hero in this situation, because it's more important that you get there and touch it, rather than be, like, even if it's worse team comp-wise, it's more important that you just get there and touch it. And we get there right as it's over. This guy would rather lose and take, like, leave and take the full 50 SR penalty and a time penalty rather than wait 3 extra seconds. So, you know, that's his choice. You know, he's free to make it. It's not the choice I would have made. So, here we see Mei, playing Mei. Oh god, that Mercy felt bad. Gee, damn, that felt bad. Now Zenyatta's being mugged in the corner. Oh, damn. Feels bad, man. Mei did, like, a lot of work right there. Widowmaker got the damage, though she wasn't Widowmaker the whole time, so she kind of cheated. So, the things that stood out to me the most in this game is when you're playing Reinhardt, charge less, basically. You generally need a really good reason to charge, and the really good reason is usually someone has overextended and you are charging to punish them. Or because you are engaging like, you've just Earth Shattered and you're engaging a fight, or Zarya's just Gravitoned and you're engaging a fight. I'm not joking and I'm not exaggerating when I think most people that play Reinhardt would win more if they charge, like, 80% less. Like, I'm not exaggerating or joking. Like, you'd need really good reasons to charge, usually, and we didn't have very many good reasons to charge. A few of them we just missed, like, we missed Winston a couple times, those were fine, but, like, charge less, generally, still. When you're playing Roadhog, like, don't try and do, like, this flanking stuff so much, because, like, we spend a lot of time trying to be, like, on the side of the fights, like, trying to hook people. Like, it can work, but it's pretty unlikely. I think it's better in most cases to just be with your team, and, like, making space, and, like, threatening their front line, because Roadhog is very threatening to front lines. Also, like, if somebody on the enemy team is causing your team a lot of trouble, like Mei was in this game, you should focus that person as much as possible when you're playing Roadhog, because Roadhog gets to just kill a lot of people. My cat's doing something, if you're wondering what I'm keep looking at. Roadhog gets to just kill a lot of people, and if you're focusing someone, you get to kill them a lot of the time. So if you see somebody is causing your team a lot of trouble, like Mei was in this game, just, like, hard focus that Mei. Do not let that Mei have any more fun. Because Mei was causing most of the trouble for our team, so if we just removed Mei from these fights, it would have probably gone a lot better overall. So, those are the things that stood out to me the most in this game, though. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.